Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be looking at a business plan to start a 10 capacity rabbit farm. We will be breaking down all the costs that you need to start a rabbit farm that can have up to 10 breeding rabbits from the very start to the point when you earn your first income from your investment. If you have been wanting to join the rabbit farming industry, but you kind of don't know how much you need to start a mid-size rabbit farm, this video is meant for you. We are going to break down all the costs that you should be expecting when starting your farm. Then also we will be letting you know how much you should be expecting to get from this farming business. If you find this type of content interesting, please stick around, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so that when we upload the next content, you're notified to come and watch with us. Give this video a thumbs up if you find it interesting. Also share it with a friend who is interested into starting a rabbit farming business. For the 10 capacity rabbit farm, I mean 10 breeding mothers. And then for the 10 breeding mothers, you will need 5 males. And we will be looking at this in two ways. So one is a person who is looking at starting from scratch. You have no land, you have no structures, so you're beginning from scratch. The other person or the other way is going to be someone who already has land and has a few structures. Structures like you have a house where you can use as a store and where you can house your workers, and then probably that land is fenced off with a perimeter wall so that you can simply construct your cages in that compound that has been fenced off. So that is the two ways we're going to be looking at this. Now, for the person starting from scratch, you're going to need to buy land. Although we say that rabbit farming needs limited space, in the end, you will need that small space as well. So we're looking at buying a 50 by 100 plot. So 50 feet by 100 feet plot. We cost this to be at 5 million Ugandan shillings. This is roughly about 1,300 US dollars. For this land we are looking for farmland. It's nothing prime. So get the cheapest land that you can find. Once you have acquired the land, then you're going to look at the worker's house. The worker's house also should have space for you to use as a store. Looking at this costing you about 3 million Ugandan shillings, which is roughly about 790 US dollars. This also is nothing to be fussy. So the aim here is to ensure that you're minimizing cost. And now for the person starting from scratch, you're also going to need a rabbit shelter. A rabbit shelter is basically going to be the house which is going to house your rabbit cages. So you're putting your rabbit cages inside some form of enclosure. This is going to be about 25 feet by 50 feet. So this is going to be half of the plot that you will have bought. Remember, the plot is 50 by 100 feet. So you're utilizing half of that space, and we are estimating the structure to cost you about 6 million Ugandan shillings. This is roughly about 1,500 US dollars. Remember, this rabbit shelter should be constructed using the cheapest material, and for this case, you're going to use wood. Okay, use wood and timbers to ensure that you minimize the cost. Ensure that you're leaving spaces where you're going to put the mesh for aeration, because it's going to be important for you to have free flow of air in your structure. Now that first items that we have discussed, this is for someone who is starting from scratch. If you already have a home and you already have land, you're just going to ignore that. But now the area which we are discussing now, this is compulsory for all. Now, once you have your land, you have your a rabbit shelter, and then you have the workers' house and store. It's time for you to build cages. Now, for you to have a 10 capacity rabbit farm, you're going to need 50 cages. I've calculated 50 cages to be able to take you up to 6 months when you start to experience serious sales from your farm. Your rabbits are going to be mostly ready for meat processing or selling as breeders at around 5 to 6 months. You can build all the 50 cages at once, or you can first build about 25 cages and then build more as the farm grows. But from our experience, once the rabbits start producing, it's going to be rapid growth. So you find that at some point you will find that you don't have cages where to wean new bunnies. So if you have the resources available, it's always a good idea that you construct all the cages at once so that you don't have to get into issues of lacking space. So 50 cages are going to cost you 4 million Ugandan shillings. This is roughly about 1,056 US dollars. And this cost is derived from our recent video which we did when we were breaking down the cost of building a 6-room rabbit cage. If you haven't watched that video that we did breaking down the cost of building a 6-room rabbit hutch, please ensure that you watch this video until the end, because we are going to make that the next video that plays after you finish watching this one. We will put it at the end card and you should be able to see it and click on it, and then you can watch that breakdown as well. Once you have your rabbit hutches or rabbit cages ready, then it's time to buy some breeding rabbits. Now for the 10 capacity rabbit farm, you're going to need 10 breeding mothers and you're going to need 5 males. For you to have a versatile farm, we recommend that you pick 5 different breeds, where you pick 2 females and 1 male of each breed that you will have selected. This will ensure that you can provide purebred quality rabbits to new farmers, and this is where you're going to be making good money. Guys, remember, breeding rabbits cost a little bit more than those that are sold for meat. So now you can look for rabbit breeds like the New Zealand White. You can also look at the California. You can look at the Flemish Giant, the Checkered Giant. From those two, you can choose one. Then also another good breed to choose from is the American Chinchillas. These come in gray and brown. And then you can also look at maybe getting a Dutch Rabbit. Dutch Rabbit is a dual-purpose breed. It does very well for meat. It also does amazingly well as pet. So 15 rabbits will cost you 1.2 million Ugandan shillings. This is roughly about 317 US dollars. Each rabbit costing you about 80,000 Ugandan shillings. If you have good bargaining power and you can find someone who can offer to you a rabbit cheaper than 80,000 Ugandan shillings, that would be great. But what you should do is not to buy cheap breeds like the local breeds or the dwarfs, because those will not be able to get you any money back. So this is how your rabbit hatches are used up so far. So you have 15 rooms being used by your breeding stock, the 10 females and the 5 males. Then assuming that 8 of your 10 female rabbits gave birth in the first month, it means you need 8 cages to be able to wean the bunnies too. Remember, we are buying ready to breed rabbits, so in your very first month of having the bunnies at the farm, you will be able to breed them and get new bunnies. So more 8 cages will be used up just after 1 month, leaving you with just 27 cages. You will be rebreeding your rabbits at 4 weeks after giving birth, which means that your rabbits are going to give birth twice in 3 months. So in 3 months, from 50 cages, you will only be left with 19 cages, which are unused. You are also going to need some first aid medicines that you will be using in case your rabbits fall sick. This is going to cost you around 200 Ugandan shillings. which is about 52 US dollars. But if you keep a good farm hygiene, you may not be able to use these medicines. Remember, guys, if you're managing your hygiene at the farm very well, most of the time your bunnies will not be falling sick. Apart from first aid kit, you're also going to need feeds. Now we're looking at feeds for the first 6 months. This is when we expect that you will be making huge sales of your bunnies, because your bunnies will have grown to about 6 months and you're able to sell them. Now in the first month, you're going to just be feeding your 15 rabbits, and we recommend that you feed a rabbit 100 grams of feed a day. So your 15 rabbits will be eating about 1.5 kg of feed, which amounts to 45 kilos per month. This 45 kilos of feed you're going to be buying it at around 135 Ugandan shillings, which is about 35 US dollars. In the second month, you will be feeding your 15 breeding stock plus the 8 bunnies which the rabbits will have given birth to. So you will be feeding a total of about 23 rabbits. Now 23 rabbits, if you feed each rabbit 100 grams of feed per day, you're going to be feeding them 69 kilos of feed in a month. This is going to cost you around 207,000 Ugandan shillings, which is about 54 US dollars. Now in the third month, you're going to be feeding the 23 bunnies, okay, plus the 8 that will have been given birth in the second round of new bunnies. So you will be feeding a total of 31 bunnies. If you feed 100 grams to each rabbit, you will be feeding 96 kilograms of feed in 30 days. And this will be costing you about 288,000 Ugandan shillings, which is roughly about 76 US dollars. Now, this is the feed that you will be feeding in 3 months. The total is going to be 630 Ugandan shillings, which is roughly about 166 US dollars. Now, to get the feed that you would need to feed in 6 months, we simply multiply this by 2. It will be giving us a total of 1,260,000 Ugandan shillings, which is roughly about 330 US dollars. This is the feed that you will be using for 6 months. So the total cost of starting a 10 capacity rabbit farm is going to be one, for the person who is starting everything from scratch, is going to be 21,260,000 Ugandan shillings. This is roughly about 5,616 US dollars. For the person who already had land and they had their land fenced off, so they only needed to start from the point of constructing the cages, their total cost is going to be 7,260,000 Ugandan shillings, which is around 1,918 US dollars. Now the big question is, how much will you be getting from this kind of investment that you have made into your rabbit farm? Now at 6 months, the rabbits will have given birth at least 4 times, assuming that the rabbit gave birth to 8 bunnies every time it gave birth. For us, we have bunnies on the farm which give birth to even 11 bunnies. So having an average of 8 is good. Now, if you rabbits are giving birth to 8 bunnies, and assuming that only 8 mothers give birth 4 times, they will give you about 256 bunnies in 6 months. Now, let's assume that you have a 5% mortality rate on your farm. It means that you're going to have 243 rabbits growing up to maturity. Now, at 6 months, if you sell each bunny at 50,000 Ugandan shillings, it means 243 bunnies are going to give you 12,150,000 Ugandan shillings, which is roughly about 3,209 US dollars. This means that you are able to recoup your money that you will have invested into the rabbit farm in the first year. That's if you started from scratch. If you already had land and you just started from the point of constructing the rabbit cages, It means that you recoup your money in the first 6 months and even make some margin as your profit. If you've watched the video this far, guys, please consider subscribing to the channel. Turn on the notification bell. Give a video a like if you find the information shared useful. Share it with a friend. Comment on the video if you would like us to do any form of breakdown for any farm that you have interest in starting, or for the amount that you have that you are planning to start with. We will be able to pick it up from the comment section, and we will be able to make a video in reply to that comment. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.